Mrs. Kesters from Lost Jesuit High School, and this section is on parallel and perpendicular lines. Let's first discuss what parallel and perpendicular lines are. So, parallel lines are lines that never cross. You can think of train tracks, okay? They both have the same exact slope, and I'm going to prove this to you right here. These two lines are parallel. They look like they're never going to cross, which they don't, because they have the same slope, and I'll show you. So remember, when you're finding a slope, you want to look at 4 little boxes like that, and it's going to be a perfect point that goes right through all 4 of those boxes. So I see one right here, and I also see one right here. And my slope is up to right 1, so that'd be 2 over 1. Now for the red line, I have a perfect point here and here. Again, I go up to right 1, so I have 2 over 1. So you can see right here that our slopes are the exact same, and that means that these lines are parallel. Now let's talk a little bit about perpendicular lines. The perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. Alright, their slopes now, you want to think of the opposite reciprocal as their slopes, or like how I like to say it is flip it and switch it. Okay, I'm going to show you what I mean. Now for example, this blue slope right here, you have a perfect point here and here. You go down 1, right 2. So the slope is negative 1/2. Now for the red line, I have a point here and here. I go up to right 1. So my slope is 2 over 1. Do you see how you just flip the slope? Okay, you flip the fraction and switch the sign. So flip it and switch it is how I like to think about it. So let's go ahead and get to some examples about how we're going to use parallel and perpendicular lines when finding equations of lines. So find the equation of the line that has a point 2, 8 and parallel to the graph of y equals 7x minus 3. So let's go ahead and look at this one. So remember, parallel lines, they have the same slope. So all I need to do is seal this slope right here. So m equals 7. It stays the same because parallel lines have the same slope. And I have my point 2, 8. Now I've got a point and a slope. I use point-slope form. I've got y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where my point is x1, y1. Let's go ahead and plug everything in. So I have y minus 8 equals 7, then in parentheses, x minus 2. Now from there, distribute your 7. You have y minus 8 equals 7x minus 14, and then add 8 to both sides. And I get the equation, y equals 7x minus 6. And these two equations, these two lines, are parallel to each other because they have the same slope. Alright, let's go ahead and look at one that is going to be perpendicular. So in this case, find the equation of the line that has the point 2, negative 5, and is perpendicular to the graph y equals 3/5 x minus 1. Now when we're doing those parallel and perpendicular lines, steal the slope, which is 3/5. So m equals 3/5. But remember, we want a perpendicular line. So the slope that I want to use, I want to flip and switch the signs. So really, I want to make it 5/3, and it has to be negative. So I flip it and switch the sign. So my slope is going to be 5/3. My point is 2, negative 5. And we use point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Here's my x1, y1. Alright, let's go ahead and plug these points in. Y minus a negative 5, so it becomes plus plus, equals your slope of negative 5/3 times x minus, my x1 is 2. Let's go through and clear fractions so we don't need to worry about this ugly fraction right here. So clear fractions by multiplying by your least common denominator on the outside of the parentheses. And your least common denominator is 3. So I'm going to get, 3y plus 15 equals these 3 cancels. Don't forget that negative sign. Negative 5 times x minus 2. Distribute your negative 5. 3y plus 15 equals negative 5x plus 10. Then subtract 15 on both sides. 3y equals negative 5x minus 5. Then you want to go through and divide every term by 3. And my final answer is y equals negative 5/3 x minus 5/3. So that's your equation of the line, and you can double check just to make sure that they are perpendicular. I have my slope -5/3 here, and that is perpendicular to something that has a slope of 3/5. So you're all set. So your answer for this problem is y equals -5/3 x minus 5/3. Alright, that's it for this lesson. So if you have any questions, make sure you stop by the math office or email me at kesterse@washjesuit.org. I'll see you in class.